trouble, David waved his hand, but of course it was no use. They couldn't see for any part of him. How did that happen? Asked Mom. She looked out of David's chair. I don't know, David said. I was like this when I woke up. Mom and Katie watched milk carton float up on pour milk on David's cereal. In the classroom, David headed for his teacher's desk. Mrs. Cooper, yes, David. She was reading something. I'm invisible today. Mrs. Cooper looked up. David? I'm here. He picked up a paper and folded it to show where he was. Oh dear, said Mrs. Cooper. Is that going around again? Well, take your seat. David went downstairs for breakfast. Good morning, Mom. Mom was sick and did not see him. She turned around and still did not see him. David, she looked under the table. David's little sister Kate came into the kitchen. What are you looking for? David, said Mom. I'm here, said David.
Katie pouted. How come he gets to be invisible? Mom smiled and handed both children lunch bag. Katie took hers, David took his. For a moment, Katie and Mom stared at David's lunch bag hanging in the air. Then Mom cleared her throat. Be extra careful crossing the street, she said. Cars can't see you, you know.
One morning, David woke up to find himself invisible. He looked in the mirror and saw nothing but a comb hanging in the air. He looked down at himself and saw nothing. This is odd, he thought. Well, there was no point in combing his hair. He shrugged and set down the comb.
David went downstairs for breakfast. Good morning, Mom. Mom was facing the sink and did not see him. She turned around and still did not see him. David, she looked under the table.
The class began with history, David's favorite subject. He knew the answers to Mrs. Cooper's question, but Mrs. Cooper never called on him because she couldn't see his hand raised. David rolled his pencil back and forth, feeling inert and crabby.
After a minute, John said, "Hey, try this." He took off his better baseball cap and put it on David. That one, my coat is disappeared with me, said David. Your coat disappeared with you, John said. But this is my hand. Try it.